Hi, class. How's everybody doing this week? I'm here for my Monday announcement and mini lecture to help you all with going that last leg of this English 1B course. You have two tasks this week. One is to continue to prep for your exam by listening to interviews of your author of your exam books. So follow the instructions for the posting, listen to those interviews, answer the question, and post those to your discussion posts. Just keep in mind that this exam that's coming up is really going to focus on all of those questions that I ask in the lectures around the author's voice, the use of evidence, the insertion of themselves in the evidence, and just really think about those questions and reread your books, highlight in the margins places that you think are really telling and important. When you take your exam, it's going to be based on your book, obviously, but you're really going to be looking at that structure and development and how that will really inform your own writing. Secondly, I just want to say that I finished reviewing everybody's drafts of their papers. If you turned it in on time, then you should be able to see my comments on the Turnitin site. First, I'd like to just say that everybody did really well with just collecting evidence and compiling the evidence and organizing it into a draft. I was really impressed with what everybody did. And so now comes revision. And there are really two parts to revision. One is that kind of global big picture revision, which you would focus on first. And secondly is that sentence level micro revision where you work on grammar and APA and spelling and mechanics and that sort of thing. So today I just like to remind you to focus on the big picture. And these are the things that I saw as a group. Not everybody, but most people need to work on the following things. One is your thesis. Everybody needs to come up with a thesis or a claim at their end of their introduction. So it's not enough to say, I am writing a paper about eating disorders. Okay. You have to make a claim about eating disorders. Okay. And so look at Rame's section on thesis statements. Um, you know, you may want to prove to your reader that eating disorders are something that only happen with young girls, and how do we ameliorate or become aware of that. So your purpose might be to educate your audience, or your purpose might be to persuade your audience toward a change in attitude. So think about that purpose in relation to your thesis. But your thesis really needs to make a claim. Okay? It really needs to say something that your reader's going to puzzle about and say, wait a minute, I don't agree with that. It has to be debatable. Okay. So if you want to say, eating disorders aren't really a big deal, your reader's going to say, wait a minute, they are. And so again, I'm being a little superficial here, but I think you get the idea that you really want to take your topic and make a claim about it. Okay. And your purpose is directly related to that. Next, look at your introductions, come up with a hook that is engaging and compelling. Look at Rame's pages 35 to 38 for suggestions. You can use an anecdote, you can use a quote, you can use a series of questions, but really work on something to hook your reader in. And I'll be looking for that in your revisions. The one thing I would say about everybody's papers is to get more specific. Okay, so you might have a very general overview in your introduction, which is fine and makes sense. But when you go into the body of your paper, give us as many specifics as you can. Okay. Thirdly, what I'd like everybody to work on is that structure. So you have a topic sentence at the beginning of every paragraph that goes back to your thesis. So if you don't have a thesis, it's hard to have those topic sentences. So that thesis is integral to the revision of your paper. And then once you have those topic sentences, give that evidence to support it and give that analysis to explain the evidence. So I'm really going to be looking for, an introduction with a hook, a thesis statement that makes a claim, and then paragraphs that have a topic sentence, evidence, and analysis linking the evidence back to the topic sentence. And then finally, I want some sort of conclusion. Wrap up your paper with something that leaves your reader with a sense of closure. Some of you had topics where you could give some recommendations at the end. Some of you have topics where you maybe had a problem and you have some solutions that you want to propose. But give your paper a conclusion that feels done, and your reader isn't going to come to the end of your paper and say, well, wait a minute, what's next? And then finally, after you get all of that content down, then look at your sentences, your grammar patterns. Maybe you have comma issues, maybe you have fragments, maybe you have verb tense. Look at your APA, make sure that you're documenting everything accurately, make sure that you're not plagiarizing. Please, please do not plagiarize. Review what this means if you're confused. Use the Turnitin to highlight those matches. You can turn in your papers 3 days ahead of time, and Turnitin will give you a match report, and use that as a tool to fix the plagiarism. I gave everybody the benefit of the doubt in this draft, but for your final revisions, if there's plagiarism, I'm not going to give you a passing grade. So just be aware of that. Come see me if you have any questions. So again, I really look forward to your final revisions that are going to be due in week 14. So you have a few weeks to work on them. But please use the OWL if you want help with your papers. Come talk to me on Zoom on Friday afternoons. Email me if you have questions. Look at RAIMS and the sample papers to get models for anything that you're confused about. I know since this class is online, it's really a challenge to have that sort of give and take with asking me a question and my being able to give you an answer. So again, a lot of the onus is on you to go and explore the materials that are in the course and find out as much as you can. Alrighty, so again, fine job with your drafts. I look forward to everybody's revisions, and I'm also really looking forward to your thoughts on your exam books. Okay, thanks so much and have a great week. Bye.